Hello and welcome to another TEVAdrive episode. We are driving a 2022 Lincoln Corsair PHEV. So this is a plug-in hybrid SUV, which is an all-wheel drive SUV. It's a close cousin to the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, and this is what we will try and compare it with today to give you an idea. But we will also mention just one other competitor which is priced similarly with similar specs. So this particular Lincoln Corsair plug-in hybrid is an all-wheel drive, as we mentioned. The total system horsepower is 266 horsepower. The battery size is 14.4 kilowatt hours battery, giving this car about 45 kilometer rated range. We were able to drive it actually slightly more than that, but we'll come back to this test while we were driving the car to give you our impressions. So as you can see, there's certain differences between this plug-in hybrid and regular versions. First of all, you have the LEDs, DRLs, and the LED headlights. You also have fog lamps. The fog lamps are at the bottom here. You have all the sensor suite in the front here. As you can see, the logo, the Lincoln logo, has a blue background in the plug-in hybrid. As we go around the car, you'll see the beautiful 20-inch rims, which are an upgrade. So this car, as is starting at 58,000 Canadian dollars. As we're testing it, it's basically 70,000, which makes it about $20,000 more expensive than its cousin Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, with a huge difference being that this one is all-wheel drive, where the Ford Escape can only be had in front-wheel drive. So here is the charge port. As you can see, all the LEDs, very similar to all the other charge ports in Ford and Lincoln vehicles. And you have the Corsair logo here, which also has a blue background indicating that this is a plug-in hybrid. Let's go around the car. This is your gas fill-up tank. The back of the car has a unibrow LED as well, with LED turn lamps as well. You have the backup sensors, surround cameras all around the car, and it has the kick gate opener. Let's hope it works for me this time. It may take a few tries. Okay, you see, sometimes it's not easy. There we go. It's finally worked. And the light inside flashes. So when your gate is open, you have your lights on. It's the bottom part here that lights up to give other people warning. So the trunk is fairly sizable. You can see that the rear seat is 40-60 split. And you have some more storage space here for your cables, but plus it's one of those rare plug-in hybrids where you have this spare emergency tire. So that's excellent. Very few plug-in hybrids and electric cars have a spare tire. This one does. So that's great. So in spite of this car having a 14.4 kilowatt hour batteries hidden somewhere under there, there's still an emergency spare tire here, which is great. The gate height is not phenomenal. I hit my head already a few times. Even though this is a crossover, the gate doesn't quite go up enough. And this ridge here, you have to be very careful not to hit it with your head. I did. Anyway, so let's close this up and then let's show you the inside of the car. So right away you can see that this is the luxury version of the Ford Escape. It has much more luxurious appointments, leather wrapped steering wheel, leather seats with 24-way adjustment and massage and heated. All the seat adjustments are located on the door, just like in the Mercedes cars. This one is equipped with an upgraded Revel system. You have a digital dash and digital center screen. However, let's turn the car on for a second. You can see the startup sequence here and the startup sound. Basically you have this digital display here and the center screen here, which is smallish compared to the Ford Mach-E and some of the other electric cars we drove recently or plug-in hybrids. This screen is fairly small in the center. It's one of the smallest screens of all the plug-in hybrids and electric cars that we have driven recently. You can see that even though the screen is touchscreen and you can do a lot of functions through the touchscreen, there's still your traditional button array here. So you have the entertainment button here, you have your seek, you have your tune, you have your source button. Then at the bottom you have your climate screen, climate buttons, which you can also adjust using the touch screen, but you have all the controls here. So, the ladies in our family appreciated the fact that there's a lot of buttons here. They also liked the luxury appointments of the interior here in the Lincoln. I just wish that the screen was a bit bigger. And another thing is that the Android Auto here is only via cable. It doesn't have wireless Android Auto. And the way you plug it in, here is the, you have the two USB ports here in the storage compartment in front. You can plug it into regular USB or USB-C right here. So in order to use the Android Auto, you have to plug in your phone. You do have a wireless charging pad, which is located in yet another storage compartment. So you have the front compartment here, which closes with a nice sliding door. You have the two cup holders, which have nice LED lighting, ambience lighting inside it. Here's basically the drive mode. We'll come back to that in a second. Your handbrake. Let's open up the storage compartment, and here is your wireless charging pad. So the way you do it is you put your phone in with the back facing this way, and it gets the wireless charge here, but you cannot use Android Auto in this position unless you have a cable that's long enough to reach from the plug there all the way here to your phone. And let's show you the various driving modes. So first of all, when you look at the dashboard here, by using the drive button here, you toggle the different driving modes, and there's lots of them, believe me. So let's try at the most important for us, which is all the way to the left, is your Preserve EV. Whoop. Let's go all the way to the right. Yeah, the pure EV is not available because our battery is depleted. Normally all the way to the left would be a pure EV mode, but because we're at 0 kilometers on the battery, it's depleted. The pure EV is not available, and it appears as Preserve EV, which is save and charge battery for later. And while we are at this mode, we have to mention that it only will charge the battery if you're driving below 100 kilometers per hour, so using side roads. When you're on the highway, driving normally over 100 kilometers per hour, it will barely maintain the charge. In fact, our kilometers on battery went down when we were doing highway speed. So it only really started recharging the battery once we went on a side road going about 90. Okay, so the second mode is Excite, which is your sport mode. You can hear that the engine just came on. Okay, we'll just click OK button here to get rid of the message. The other way, there we go. The message is out. And the dashboard changes. So in Excite or sport mode, you have on the left, you have the power band, which goes up as you accelerate. This is the percentage of power you're using. When you're recharging and decelerating and regenerating the battery, it will turn green and it'll go down. And right here you see the power usage in electric and power usage in gas as well. Then you have in the middle of the screen, you have your statistics, liters per 100 kilometers, total kilometers, and total kilometers in electric. On the right hand side, you have the normal speedo. As you change the modes, the screen changes as well. So let's go to the next mode, which is Conserve, which is your economical, the most economical style of driving. And we have to mention to you that we just drove to our lake house and back. On the outbound, we toggled between pure EV first and off the highway, and then charge mode, battery charge mode, which is the Preserve mode on the highway. And then again, we put it in pure EV for the last 15 kilometers or so. And the total consumption on that using this combination of modes was approximately 7 liters per 100 kilometers. Now today, on the way back, we just kept it in Conserve mode the entire trip of 150 kilometers. We managed to do about 30 kilometers in electric and we got an average consumption of only 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers, including the 30 kilometers driven in pure electric. So that's an excellent result with a lot of mostly highway driving. That's fantastic. In the city, using the same conserve mode, which is a hybrid mode, and with the battery depleted, we got about 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is again not too shabby. Okay, so the next after that you have the conserve, the economic driving. Let's go to the next one, which is normal mode, which it's effortless and balanced. So the car defaults the start to normal mode. Okay, let's keep going to the right. We have the slippery mode, slick, icy, and loose surfaces. And finally, at the very last, deep conditions, deep snow, mud, or sand. And you can hear again the engine coming on. And the display basically is the same as in Excite or Sport mode. Okay, so we're gonna go back to, and this is the last mode. So let's go back to basically preserve EV mode because pure EV is not available. Normally, one more to the left would be pure EV mode, but you see we have zero electric. That's why the pure EV mode is not available, because the hybrid battery is depleted. So that's about it. Let us show you the main screen here. This is your home menu, so your navigation, radio, and the phone, phone adjustments. You can go full screen. And by the way, once you go Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, it occupies the entire screen. You have your outside temperature here. When the climate is on, right now it's off. When your climate is on, there you go. So I just press, very easy to turn the climate on. You just used all these buttons. The interior temperature appears here, the left side and the right side. So it's a 2-zone climate control. All right, so that's pretty simple. If you want to turn it off, you press the center button here. If you want to turn off the climate, all the options are here. You just turn it off by clicking this button. All right, pretty simple and straightforward. If you want to go to a home screen, again, you press home. There you go. So the engine is on because it's trying to charge up the battery. Let's put it, actually we are in parking. So it's trying to charge up the battery a bit, and it's going to turn itself off in a while. All right, so that's about it. Now, as we mentioned, this car is equipped with a 24-way adjustable seat, and it has driver and passenger massage. The way you get to the massage, you have to go to settings. Oops, sorry about that. You go to, there should be a seats. There we go, seats. And you have the massage right here, driver and passenger. And you can adjust the massage in many different ways. Lower rolling, upper rolling, circular cushion, full recovery, relaxed recovery, low, medium, high, etc., etc. You can also, so this is for massage. If you go back to seats, you can turn off the massage. There you go. And all the massage is canceled now. And then you can adjust your lumbar supports and side supports all right here. As you can see, the various side parts of the seat can be fully adjusted from here, including the side support. So that's fantastic. It's 24-way adjustable seat, very comfortable seats, beautiful leather. This color is the ceramic on the exterior and a light gray leather on the inside. Let us also mention the beautiful sunroof. That's one of the largest panorama sunroofs we've seen in an electric or plug-in hybrid car. And it opens, so let us try and open it. So first of all, you can tilt it, which is great. You close it, and then you can just open it. So it's an opening sunroof, and it has a blind as well. So we're gonna try and close it for you. That's as far as it goes. Oh, there you go, a little bit more. It's snowing, so we're gonna close it up. There you go, one button close. And we have an electric blind, so it's a separate button here, and then you just press it to close your blind. So it's excellent. We love opening sunroofs with a separate blind. So the first touch only closes it partially over the rear passengers. You touch it again and it closes it fully. So as I mentioned, our ladies really appreciated this car because it's a plug-in hybrid. My wife and daughter are not willing to go full electric just yet. And they really appreciated the interior, the driving, and the exterior of the car, including its color. So That's it for the interior review, and we're gonna take you for a quick spin to give you our impressions of the driving of this car. Before we hit the road, we'll mention its competition. So again, this car starts at 58,000 or 70,000 as equipped with all the options right here. It's a cheaper cousin from Ford, the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. The base price is 38,000, so it's basically $20,000 less than this one. There's only one trim available in the plug-in hybrid, the Grand Touring. It's 58 plus options. A few options are available. The base Lincoln Corsair starts at 45,000, so about $13,000 less. Is it worth paying the 13 grand for the battery and the 45 kilometer rated range? We'll tell you in a moment. Okay, so here again, we are now in standard normal mode. We charged up the battery to about 8 kilometers range. We'll see how realistic this is when we drive in the city. We explained the modes to you already. We're gonna try and put it in drive, and we'll put it in pure EV mode. So again, you do it by the drive mode knob here. We'll turn it all the way to the left. And as you can see, we are showing pure EV mode, which only appears if you have some battery state of charge percentages still left. Like right now it's showing 8 kilometers available in pure electric range. We turn the climate off because it's not needed. As you can see, this is the standard screen with your standard map, your entertainment screen. To get to Android Auto, which by the way, you have to be plugged in, your phone has to be plugged in through a USB cable. There is no wireless Android Auto, and you turn it on by pressing this Android Auto button right here. And to go back to the Ford screens, you just press on Ford Sync. Even though you're driving a Lincoln, you click on the Ford Sync. So it's a Ford Sync system basically here. All right, so that's about it. So let's hit the road and tell you about our driving impressions, our consumption statistics, etc. You know, the funny thing is that this car, being a plug-in hybrid, does not give you the electrical consumption statistics, only fuel consumption statistics. With most cars, including plug-in hybrids like our BMW, it does give you the electrical consumption as well, which is fine. You don't really actually need it. And as we mentioned previously, when you're driving on the highway, longer distances, it's best to, number one, plug it in and fully charge it. And fully charged, it was showing 49 kilometers. We were able to hypermile it to about 47 kilometers. I'm sure in the summer you can do better. Again, better than the rated range of 45 kilometers. So fully charged, we drove for 150 kilometers, mostly on the highway. It was 100 kilometers on the highway, 50 kilometers on side roads. And we achieved an average fuel consumption of only 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers, which is pretty good. Of that, about 30 kilometers were driven in pure electric. When the battery was depleted, we achieved a consumption of about 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So again, it's pretty good for city consumption for this type of a car. Again, the total system horsepower is 266 horsepower versus its cheaper brothers Ford Escape's 220 horsepower. And we have to mention that, you know, yes, it is $20,000 cheaper, but the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid is only available as a front-wheel drive. You cannot get all-wheel drive in a Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. So basically, this is the only one. If you want to go for all-wheel drive, this is the car you have to get, which is the Lincoln Corsair, which is $20,000 more than the Ford Escape front-wheel drive. At this point, we would like to also mention other competition. Some other reviewers and articles mention, cars like BMW and Mercedes and Volvo, but it's incorrect because the BMW X3 plug-in hybrid, which was discontinued, is bigger. The Audi Q5 plug-in hybrid, which is still offered, it's bigger and much more. All of those are bigger and more expensive. So basically, the only competition in this compact SUV category would be the just launched Lexus NX 450h Plus plug-in hybrid, which is priced exactly the same, $58,000. So they are the direct competition size-wise, price-wise, but the Lexus is slightly more powerful with 300 horsepower versus 266 on this car. This car accelerates from 0 to 100 in 6.5 seconds, where the Lexus is most likely about half a second, faster. So not a huge difference. And we're about to test drive both the Toyota RAV4, which is available in all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid version, and its more luxurious cousin, the Lexus as well, back to back next month. So we'll give you our impressions of that. But this is the real competition for this car, not the Volvo XC60 plug-in, not the Mercedes GLC plug-in, and not the BMW X3 plug-in, because all of those are larger and more expensive. They usually start above 70,000 for the base price, and they're also bigger. Okay, so really very little competition for this size and price category. Our general impression is, don't expect this car, even with its 266 horsepower, to be super fast. It's not. We try to, it's a comfortable highway cruiser. By the way, we will demonstrate shortly the auto steer system here on the Lincoln. It works quite well, but it's far from the Ford Mach-E's self-drive Blue Cruise. So this car does not have Blue Cruise. It's just an auto steer. It works well within certain conditions, but it's not as good. It's not a true hands-free like the Blue Cruise in the Ford Mach-E. So as soon as we hit the lakeshore in the middle lane with the good road markings, we'll try and turn it on for you to show you how it works, when it doesn't work, how to turn it on, and how it warns you when it turns off. So that's the one thing with the Volvo Autopilot and Auto Steer we found was kind of almost dangerous, is that if the Auto Steer turns off, you don't get any warning. There might be a visual warning on the dashboard, but if you miss it, you will likely not see that the auto steer is off. Here you will hear a very clear warning when the auto steer turns off, okay, which is a good thing. So there's a warning here on the dashboard. In the head-up display, by the way, this car is equipped with a head-up display. It's standard in the Grand Touring. You have all the major information, the speed limit, navigation, etc. The nice thing again about this is, even if you're using your Android Auto, Waze, or Google navigation on the Android Auto system, the indicators for the navigation will show up both on this main dashboard and also in your head-up display, which is kind of nice. So all the auto steer controls are basically here on the left-hand side. You have to turn on the cruise control main switch. On/off is here, and the moment you hit the cruise control switch, the other controls will light up. So as you can see right now, they are dark. So it's kind of, we wish it would be lit up all the time, but it's not. It's only when you press on the cruise control button here to activate it that all these other buttons to control it light up. Okay, so there we go, on, and you can see all the buttons light up. So cancel, this is your auto steer on/off. This is your distance from the car in front of you for the adaptive cruise. This is your resume button here on the left, set plus and set minus. Okay, so in order to kick it in, let's try and get into the middle lane first to demonstrate the nice auto steer. And you turn it on by pressing the set plus, and we are set at the speed limit. Let's set it exactly at the speed limit, and the auto steer should be on. Technically it's not on right. Let's try the auto steer. There we go. You can see on the head-up display, and hopefully it does not show on the screen here, but on the head-up display I can see that the auto steer, the light is green. So let's try and see how quickly it'll prompt me to put my hands on the wheel. So as we mentioned, there we go. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. If you don't do, it's going to be another audible signal warning. Hopefully soon. It just says keep hands on steering wheel, but the auto steer is still on. Let's see how long we can cheat. There we go. There you go. Main dashboard warning and audible warning. So we have to move the steering wheel. So yeah, it's not a full hands-free. In the hands-free system in the Ford Mach-E, there were sensors watching you to make sure you're watching your eye movement to make sure you were watching the road, and that's why it would allow you to drive even a few hundred kilometers without touching the steering wheel. This is a much simpler auto steer system where you have to keep your hands on the wheel, and even if you keep your hands on the wheel, it'll prompt you. There we go, it's canceled. You heard it right just now, and there's a message canceled on the head-up display. It canceled the auto steer because it could not feel the lanes, or you forced the wheel in a different direction. So now it turns itself back on. So it doesn't give you a sound when it turns on, but it does give you a sound when it turns itself off. All right, so that's about it. That's about it. Again, very little competition for this car. Yeah, it's braking hard. The regeneration power is not very much, to be honest. Let's see what the shift paddle. We have the shift paddles here, minus and plus. 4, 3, 2, 3. So let's turn off the. Let's turn off the cruise control and see what the shift paddle does. It goes from 3, and let's take it up to 5, 6. So there's no regeneration in 6. It does seem to increase the regeneration, but we also we got a message that the engine enabled for system performance. And that's the other thing that we experienced when we hypermiled the car from Midland to Wasaga Beach, a distance of about 50 kilometers. So we're trying to see how realistic that 49 kilometer estimated range at full would be. And we did manage to drive it for about 47 kilometers. However, for the first, even though the car was preheated through the phone app, the Lincoln Way is the app, you turn it on, it preheats for 15 minutes. So the car was warmed up, and so was the battery in the interior. It didn't use the engine, which is a nice thing. A lot of plug-in hybrids, when you preheat, it'll turn the engine on. This one did not. It used the mains power to preheat the interior and the battery. So the first 4 kilometers, no matter what, no matter if you put it in pure EV mode, it'll for some reason it'll drive with the engine on, and only then it turns it off. And we were able to drive for about 47 kilometers in 0-degree temperatures. So it's a pretty good for winter conditions. In the summer, you might be able to hypermile it to stretch it over more than 50 kilometers range. The windows are fogging up because the climate is off, so let's turn it on. Very simple function. You just press this button on here, and the the climate turns on. Pretty simple. So that's about it. If you have any questions regarding this car or its competitors, feel free to comment under the video. And as usual, please do not forget to press that subscribe button on our channel to get notified where new videos are available. And we'll be driving lots of exciting both pure electrics and plug-in hybrids, as we mentioned, including the competition for this car, which is the Lexus NX 450H Plus plug-in hybrid. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.